All right, well, listen, you make it quiet. All right, the governor's on time. That's a good deal, right, that the governor's on time today. We thank the governor for being on time because we start on time in this business, so we thank you for that. First of all, I want to thank Manny Amador for giving us access to Local 472's training fund today so we can have a great bill signing, and I'll start off by saying that a resilient infrastructure equals a resilient economy. And, look, having a strong infrastructure system inside New Jersey really benefits the community at large. It benefits our economy. Not only will we be building a superior class infrastructure system for the next 5 years and beyond, but we'll be providing millions and millions of dollars for workers here in the state of New Jersey. And let me say it be union workers, union jobs, and middle-class lifestyles here. And you know what? We are very proud of that fact here in New Jersey, that we build infrastructure under the union label. And so we're really proud of this moment today for this bill signing. I want to thank the Speaker of the Assembly, Speaker Coughlin, for his leadership. Without you, we wouldn't be able to get it done. Thank you for that. The Senate President Squitieri as well. Our senatorial sponsors, Paul Sarlo, and all of the Assembly members in the Speakers Conference that jumped on board this bill. And really, let me say a special thank you to the Chief of Staff of the Governor, Diane, who worked hand in hand with us the whole entire time to make sure that we got a good plan and we got it passed. And, look, no further ado, and I said this at the Rotunda the other day, and I mean this, we elect pro-worker politicians here in the state of New Jersey. And we elected a pro-worker legislature, and we also elected a pro-worker governor. And so with that being said, let me introduce to you our friend, our governor, Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil. Thank you. Thank you all. It is a treat. I want to thank Manny and the 472 brothers and sisters for hosting us so graciously this morning. It means more than you know. Before I get into why we're here, we just all have to, I think, take a moment to step back and look at what happened at the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. An awful tragedy. If you have not seen the video, it unfolds before your eyes in a way that is just shocking. So please, let's keep all of the victims, including lives lost, especially in their families, in our prayers. I want to thank Mike Hellstrom, who has become almost overnight a legend on the organized labor scene here in New Jersey. I want to thank him for his leadership and the team at LIUNA, especially, as I mentioned, Local 472 for hosting us today. If I say it again, will you give me the same back? There you go. I didn't have to say it. At this amazing training facility here, and by the way, in my home county of Monmouth County. In a few moments, I'll walk over and have the honor of signing a piece of legislation that I think in the years to come, will create thousands of good-paying jobs for our fine union workers, like so many standing here and sitting with us today. And with this legislation, we're going to rebuild and maintain New Jersey's entire transportation system to ensure that our state and our families can keep moving forward. I want to thank each one of the legislative partners who worked so hard to push this bill across the finish line, and Mike mentioned some of them. I want to do the same. Senate President Nick Scutari, who's not with us today, but the Speaker of the General Assembly is, Craig Coughlin, Senator Paul Sarlo, Assemblyman and Coach Benji Wimberly, who's in the House, Assemblywoman, Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez, Assemblywoman Garnett Hall, and Assemblyman Clinton Calabrese, who's right in front of me. Amen. We're also today joined by the man to my left. It's hard to get to the left of me, but the man to my left, making sure you're paying attention out there, my Congressman Frank Pallone, who's been leading the fight for our state's transportation system down in Washington for decades. Frank, thank you. I also want to give my friend Bill Mullen, the president of the New Jersey Building and Construction Trades Council and also the provider of my cigar. Bill, thank you for your leadership as always. We're going to hear from We're going to hear from Mike Egginton a little bit later from the Chamber. Mike, great to be with you not once but twice today. And to all the other dignitaries who are with us today, elected officials, union leaders, association leaders. And again, finally, a big shout out to the woman to my right who was a driving force, a huge driving force behind this legislation, Chief of Staff and former Commissioner of the Department of Transportation, Diane Gutierrez-Scicchetti. Diane, thank you for literally and figuratively keeping the trains running on time in New Jersey. So here, speaking of Jersey, here in Jersey, we sit right at the heart of one of the busiest stretches of commerce in the entire world. In fact, as the link between the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, we are the primary artery of the American economy. Roughly 20% of our nation's GDP flows through our entire region's roads, tunnels, bridges, and train tracks. In 2022 alone, our state transported more than 500 million tons of freight. And as many of our commuters will tell you from personal experience, we are also home to the busiest vehicular bridge on the entire planet, the George Washington Bridge. That is all to say that America depends on the strength of New Jersey's transportation system. If our infrastructure falls behind, our entire economy falls behind. And worst of all, our families would pay the highest price in the form of costly delays and missed opportunities. So this morning, with the legislation I'm going to sign into law in a few minutes, we're going to prevent that from happening. We're going to invest billions of dollars into New Jersey's Transportation Trust Fund so we can keep our transportation system in tip-top shape. This funding will cover the cost of maintenance and repairs for everything, from roads and highways to bridges and tunnels to railroads and runways, and yes, even those damn potholes. And moreover, and I think this is a very important feature of this legislation, we're also going to provide more direct financial support to our communities with funding that is exclusively reserved for infrastructure projects at the county and municipal level in cities and towns all across New Jersey. So when I say that we're investing in every part of our transportation system, I literally mean it. You name it, from Route 1 to the back roads of rural Jersey and everything in between. And even better, this funding will help ease the burden of property taxes, because every dollar that the state spends on anything, but certainly infrastructure, at the local level, that's a dollar that our taxpayers get to save in their property taxes. Again, just like the state funds public education to the tune of double-digit billions of dollars, that's funding that local communities don't have to raise. Same thing goes for infrastructure. For a project locally that the state's paying for through the TTF, that's relief at the local level. Additionally, with this legislation, we're also meeting our responsibility to proactively and preemptively address the needs of New Jersey's families and communities. Why do I say that? Because the last time, you may recall, that the TTF was up for reauthorization, during that process, transportation projects all across the state were shut down for months. That's not happening. We got this done, and again, Diane and the legislative leaders deserve a lot of credit. We got this done before the last one expired, and that's been our objective all along. I promise you I will not tear my rotator cuff patting myself on the back. I'm only saying this because it's a fact. Well, today our leaders in both the legislative and executive branches have come together months in advance to reauthorize the TTF on a reasonable timeline. And I might add, Speaker, with votes from both sides of the aisle, led by Democratic leaderships, but Republican votes as well. And I think that's important on something like infrastructure. In the bigger sense, more than merely repaving our roads and highways, this legislation is an investment in the long-term success of our families and our small business community. Because with this funding, we're going to support the continued revitalization of both urban areas and make it far easier for our family-owned businesses to reach new consumers. The fact is that the money we invest into our transportation system today will also reap rewards for years to come. Its investment into building a world-class foundation also means good things for the world's biggest companies, as well as the world's biggest names in sports and entertainment, so they feel confident about making their future in New Jersey, and that includes the Men's Soccer World Cup in 2026. Mark on your calendar the final match, July 19, 2026. If I had to guess, 3 p.m. Jersey time. So again, I am thrilled to be joined by members of Local 472 to celebrate this historic victory for New Jersey's commuters, families, and everyone who relies on our state's infrastructure. Mike, I want to thank you personally for your leadership on this. And with the help of these workers, along with thousands of others, of welders, construction workers, many other union workers just like them, we're going to ensure that parents can get to home on time, that children can get to school safely, and that business owners can reach new segments of consumers without costly delays or interruptions. Together here in New Jersey, we are demonstrating what the future of mobility looks like. Again, I'm incredibly honored to be with you all today, and I thank you each from the bottom of my heart. This does not get done with all of us. This was a team effort, and I take my hat off to each and every one of you, most importantly, our brothers and sisters in labor. And with that, please help me welcome the Speaker of the General Assembly, a great leader and a great partner, Craig Coughlin.
Good morning, everybody. What a pleasure it is to be here. It feels like spring outside. It feels like we could play a baseball game in here if we just moved a couple of trucks. I've never been here, so many. It's better than what they have. So thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Manny, for hosting. Mike, it's great to be with you, and thank you for your great leadership, really, and getting us across the goal line. I'll thank everybody at the end, but I want to echo the governor's sentiments about thinking about those people, those men and women who lost their lives so tragically last night. Some of them were construction workers, from understand. All of them were regular people like you and me, going somewhere, headed home or going on vacation or something, and then something unthinkable happens without a moment's notice. So it is truly a tragedy. But it is great to be here in the House of Labor. As we make an investment in New Jersey that will also create thousands of good-paying jobs, union jobs, across the state. And so that's why it's important to be here with you to share in this. I can't. They were playing music. Pharrell Williams' "Happy" outside, and I thought it was incredibly appropriate because we're all pretty darn happy today. This is a good day. It really truly is. It's a good day for labor. It's a good day for government. It's a good day for people who care about the future of New Jersey, because that's what today is. And I want to thank my colleagues who were here and supported this. The Speaker Pro Tem Benji Wimberly. The governor's announced them all, but what the hell, I got to get some credit for it too, because they're in my house. I'll need them on the next vote. But Clinton Calabrese, our transportation chair, who sponsored the bill. Garnett Hall, who's a sparkling new member. It's great to see you here. And of course, I don't see her, but my running mate, the best running mate you could possibly have, Yvonne Lopez. Thank you for her support as well. Many thanks to the brothers and sisters from labor, organized labor, and our contract partners. That's no insignificant fact. For helping to work to bring about a modern, safe, and efficient transportation system. I like to quote President Biden a lot, and he talks about, because it has come to me as we go through so many of these things, he says, don't tell me what your values are, show me your budget, and I'll tell you what your values are. And that's true here. It's not a budget item, but the text, it is a commitment to 9.3 million New Jerseyans and tens of thousands of businesses that we value transportation. It's a statement that we recognize how important that is, and that we value that. And that's why I especially do want to thank my Republican colleagues who crossed the aisle to vote for what was right for New Jersey, didn't put their partisan leanings in let them stand in their way, and to everybody who worked so hard, the folks on labor, Chief of Staff Scicchetti, who worked so hard to help get them there. That was no mean feat, and to them, thank you. We're bringing millions of dollars here over the course of the next 5 years, $10 billion, in fact. And that doesn't even count the money that's going to come from Washington, thanks to leaders like Frank Pallone and President Biden. Our infrastructure, we all understand it. I think all of us here in this room recognize how important that is. It's the lifeblood of our economy in New Jersey. It lets us take advantage of our incredibly strategic location. And for everybody, from daily commuters to businesses, ensuring that they can deliver their goods to market, our roads and bridges are absolutely essential. And today we're making a commitment, and we're saying to all of those people that we care about the quality of life and that we care about our economic growth. And you can tell a lot about the importance of legislation, well, first of all, when the governor shows up, and then when TV cameras show up. You know this is a really big deal. And that's what it is today. It really, truly is a big deal. And where we have business and labor coming together, Democrats and Republicans coming together, people from across the state coming together to recognize how important this is for the future of New Jersey. Not to overlook the fact that this is a good economic investment. For every dollar invested, we produce $3 in the state's economy. That's a good deal. I think all of us would take a 3-for-1 return. The trust fund also provides relief, as the governor had pointed out, to local and county governments, over $400 million estimated, and that will help reduce property taxes and keep those roads and bridges in safe and good repair. Not only will that support, but it'll help develop local economies, improve the quality of life in those communities, and eliminate some of the things that are just so darn frustrating to people each and every day. And the economy of scale will means that we'll be able to do that without raising some of those local taxes that otherwise might have had to do it, or let them be used, let the money that would have been spent otherwise to be invested in other things in the community to make it better. It'll also provide that our transportation system is in a good state of repair for at least the next 5 years, but will set the course for the years beyond. This is the type of work that we have to do if we're going to continue to invest and believe in New Jersey's future and for all the people who will benefit from that. But it doesn't just happen. It is the product of an awful lot of hard work, a lot of people coming together. And so I do want to especially thank the governor for his leadership on this issue from day one. He's made this a priority. Senate President Scutari, who recognizes how important this is and worked hard to get this across the goal line in his caucus. To the new chief of staff. She's new relative to, not so new anymore. In 6 months, it's been a while. But Diane, you did a phenomenal job at getting this there. Let's give her a big round of applause for that. I also want to thank an instant rock star in Mike Hellstrom. Michael, thank you for all you have done, and somebody that I have known and admired and had witnessed his work up close and personal for a long time since he was the executive director of the AMO. My friend Steve Gardner. Thank you, Steve, for being at the head of this. To my former colleague, Dave Reibel, and to Bobby Bryant, thank you for what you did to help bring this coalition together and move this across the goal line. To Joe Ferraliso, thank you for your work. And to Tom Bracken and Mike Eggington, who really deserve an awful lot of credit, right? We're talking about a tax increase. I think it's a modest tax increase, 1.9 cents per gallon over the course of 5 years, or each year for over 5 years. But the typical business reaction would have been, no, this is a bad idea. It's a bad idea. But, Michael, to your credit and to Tom's, you recognize that this is a bigger, more important thing than a really modest income or a tax increase. And so thank you for your leadership. I also want to thank you. I've started to, when I talk to business groups now, I challenge them to be cheerleaders for the state of New Jersey. Don't focus on what challenges we have. Let's talk about all the good stuff we have, why we've gone up 19 places or 29 places in polls, why we're the best place to raise a family, why we're the best place to live. All of those good things and all of those business improvements that we have made with Governor Murphy's leadership, with the partnership of the Senate and both Sweeney and Scutari, I'm actually a little jealous. I think I'm feeling a little bad for some other states. We lead in so many ways. But Mike and Tom have taken that up, and that will be the focus of the convention that they're going to have, or the conference you're going to have today, because we're all going to race down the Parkway. Watch out for the Suburbans in the left-hand lane to get down and be on panels and talk about that stuff. But you've undertaken that, and I appreciate that and admire that support. So to you, and of course, what would we do without Frank Pallone? He's the governor's congressman. He's my congressman. If I had to pick one congressman in the state of New Jersey, it would be him. I think he should be everybody's congressman. That's how good he is. He could do it for everybody. Nothing against all of the other incredible Democratic Congress people, but Frank has been a friend for a long time, so thank you for that. To everybody here, thank you for all you do. To all of you who are going to be working for the next 5 years to come, enjoy today, and then you got to get back to work tomorrow. But thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I'm really proud of what we did together, and this is a really good day. Let's all be happy. Thank you.
I echo so many of your sentiments, Craig. Thank you for your leadership. Again, both chambers, both sides of the aisle. I want to mention Fran O'Connor's here, who's our new commissioner of the Department of Transportation. Fran, good to have you. I count at least 3. I got the mayor of Hope, Woodbine, and our host, Aberdeen, in the house. So thank you, mayors, especially our mayor, Fred. And you mentioned Bobby and Joe, and I wanted to mention Jack Koshis as well. Jack, great to have you with us, and thanks for your leadership and help on this as well. With that, the aforementioned, my congressman, the guy who's down there for decades fighting for New Jersey, transportation, infrastructure, energy, health care, you name it, Congressman Frank Pallone.
Thank you, Governor. I guess I'm the federal guy here today, so I'm going to try to limit my remarks because I didn't really have anything to do with getting this done today. But I do think that it's so important, and the governor keeps talking about leadership, and that's really what this is all about. I mean, primarily his leadership, but the speaker and so many others here with labor unions and Diane, of course. Because a lot of people don't realize, maybe you do here, obviously, in this room, but I think a lot of our constituents don't realize the importance of infrastructure and investing in infrastructure. And most of you know that, if we bring federal dollars here, which we have with the bipartisan infrastructure bill, I think, Diane, as of February, it was $8.2 billion that came to the state of New Jersey from the federal bipartisan infrastructure bill. It's a lot. But if you don't have the state investment to match that, then the projects don't get done. And that's why what you did today and what we're talking about today with the reauthorization of the Transportation Trust Fund is so important. And I don't want to keep mentioning Diane, but I can't help myself because every time we talk, it's just not just me, but the other members of Congress or legislature, every time we talk about a project, the first thing she says is, well, okay, well, you can get the federal dollars, and then I'm going to do so much with the state, and can you get the county involved? And by the end, there's a package for every project. I guess Gateway probably would be the best example, right? But there's so many like that. And we know that that's the only way you get things done, is you bring all these dollars together at every level to make a difference and actually put a package together that is going to make a difference. And then the other thing I have to say, too, is, obviously it's not just about roads and highways. It's also about mass transit, because we do want people to get out of their cars, and we do want people to, use mass transit because it makes for a cleaner environment. And a lot of this also goes to mass transit, to New Jersey Transit, to other things that get people out of their cars, because I think that is so important as well. But I also want to thank Layuna, Mike, because I was talking to Fred, the mayor of Aberdeen. We have both Aberdeen and some Matawan officials here today, and we're very proud of the fact that we have this facility here. We call it Cliffwood, Aberdeen, in the Aberdeen-Matawan area, because we know how important it is to have the kind of training and have really good people working on projects who are members of organized labor. So let me just thank again the governor, because I know that for him, investing in the state, in the transportation, in every aspects of infrastructure is really crucial, and the same is true of Craig Coffin as well. So thank you again. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Importantly, the timing on this was also important. This got passed by both chambers on March 18, and Diane and I spent the day on March 19th with the rating agencies. And the fact that we had gotten it done without the drama of the last time, which they were sort of prepared for, was a big deal. So for all the other reasons that we're happy to be here today, that was another one. I think there's Elvis, there's Cher. There are people increasingly who go by only one name. And here we go. Please help me welcome Diane.
Well, the only thing I can say as I start to Commissioner O'Connor is at least I have my first name back, so I'm all good. Answering to just Commissioner was not in the deal, I didn't think, but being just Diane works well for me. So first, thank you, Governor, but also today is my opportunity to say thank you to so many people. First, to the Governor for his leadership in infrastructure investment. Any good organization knows when your leadership is not behind an initiative, that oftentimes that initiative does not get accomplished. That is not true in this case. The Governor put great faith in all of us to make sure that the single most foundational service government provides continues to be strong and economically viable for the state of New Jersey. And so with that, a big thank you to you, Gov. I want to thank the Speaker, Speaker Coughlin, and Senate President Scuteri and their teams for the collaboration in this process. One thing I can say when I was at DOT is I didn't actually get so close to seeing how the sausage was made, but now I think I have the recipe. What do you think, Mike? That collaboration was critical because we all needed to be on the exact same page. We all needed to understand what we deemed collectively was the right bill to put forward. And without Speaker Coughlin and Seth Hahn and Senator Scutari and Tim Lydon and their legislative teams, led by Assemblyman Clinton Calabrese, who was willing to put his name on the bill, which is not probably always an easy thing to do with the Speaker, and Senator Sarlo and others. It was important. It was important to show that strength. And so to all of you, thank you so much for trusting in us to put together a program that we think makes a lot of sense, and literally sense, 1.9 of them a year for New Jerseyans. It will mean a great deal to our counties, our municipalities, but also to the DOT and New Jersey Transit. But my next big thank you goes to Mike Hellstrom and to Steve Gardner. I don't think Steve and I thought we were ever be on the phone quite as much as we were, but at the end of the day, both of you taught me so much about the process, and your unwavering support of this we wouldn't have been here without it. And that also goes to my good friend Bobby Bryant Jr. and Dave Reibel, who, again, between texting and the phone, I will now actually clear all those texts out of my phone and be able to find the ones that are important. But one piece of this that we've talked about, and I want to make sure we are clear, there are two people here today, and Mayor Tagliarini, thank you for having us here today. I want to really talk about Tim McDonough, Mayor of Hope, and Bill Piccolici, the Mayor of Woodbine. It was with their help and a simple request that I asked of them to bring the League of Municipalities, the League of Municipalities, Association of Counties, and the Conference of Mayors together to tell them what this project was, to tell them what we were undertaking, and to tell them what it meant to them. And it was those two individuals who got us on a Zoom call with lots of important people like Mike Serra. I think I saw him come in. There he is. Who really helped us lead the way with our local governments to understand why we were undertaking what we were and what it would mean to them. So thank you both, all of you, for making that happen. I never expected the apps convening that we had from all areas of government, private sector, and labor who actually made this come together. This is, in my mind, the single most important program that New Jersey will reauthorize, at least this year. It is no surprise to anyone that our transportation system is the lifeblood of our economy, but it is also the lifeblood of our communities. It converts the theory of transportation into a wide variety of mobility options for both the commercial and passenger customer. And what does that mean? It builds all types of roads. Today we talk about our generations coming up that want bike lanes and complete streets. But in the same vein, we need good, strong highways to move commercial traffic and make sure that our economy stays strong. That, to me, making sure that we do that is critically important. And the signing of the bill today recognizes just that. So whether you walk or ride or roll or float, back to the boats, Gov, that's another joke. And we do maritime work, so it's serious. The trust fund serves the residents and corporate partners of this state every day. It has been, first of all, it's humbling for me to be able to be here today. It is a privilege for me to be able to speak to all of you, but more so it has been an absolute privilege to be able to lead this critical initiative for the state of New Jersey. So thank you very much.
Diane, thank you for everything, including your very strong words. I want to reiterate my thanks to Tim and Bill and their colleagues as well for they're on the other side of the aisle, and they saw the merits of this, and they did a great job. And Mike, Sarah, great to have you here. And we kind of had 2 weeks in a row, we've had two pretty big landmark pieces of legislation, neither of them easy. The Affordable Housing Act from last week and Transportation Trust Fund this week. And we all got there together. It wasn't necessarily easy or a straight line, but we got there. So thank you all. Batting cleanup, the aforementioned executive vice president, we're with them not just once but twice today because they're throwing their big conference in Atlantic City, which has turned into a really big hit. I missed the train, but this is working. I think train's back next year. Just in time for one more for me. All right. What's the date? February 6th, the walk to Washington. With that, please help me welcome Mike Eggington. Mike, congratulations. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Since I'm cleanup, I'm going to be short. Everybody that was thanked, I want to reiterate that as well. I know I was talking to you, Congressman, about back in my early days when we were working on iced-tea and T-Lou, the great Bob Rowe said to Tom Bracken the same thing, that infrastructure is the foundation of our economy. And we took that always seriously. And actually, in my 30-year career at the State Chamber, we have always been consistent. The New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce always supported every renewal of the Transportation Trust Fund going back 40 years ago with the great Governor Tom Kean. So I want to thank all the same people, and I want to do one more thanks, if you'll allow me, Mike, to Steve Gardner. Of all the coalitions that I work in Trenton, this was by far one of the best ones. There's always a gatekeeper that keeps all of us together to help us, work in the State House and do a great job, Governor. So I wanted to point out Steve again. Steve's been great working with me. So that's all I got to say. I've got 1,000 people down in Atlantic City waiting for me at our business summit. The governor is our keynote speaker, along with Joaquin Duato from Johnson & Johnson. So thank you all. Thank you. Yep.
In fact, Diane and I had breakfast with Joaquin, and he's looking forward to it, as am I. Steve, this feels like your farewell ceremony or something. You got me worried. He's not going anywhere. But Mike, to you and Steve and Manny and the rest of the Lyona folks and 472 in particular, thanks for hosting us. As they say in Hollywood, it's a wrap. Let's sign this sucker. So this is the money. I can't see a thing, by the way. This is the so-called money shot, even though I can't see a damn thing. Okay, now let's actually do this. Oh, there we are. Let's go back to the front for a second. I'd like to read these. This is Assembly Bill number 4011, sponsored in the Assembly by the aforementioned Clinton Calabrese, Benji Wimberly, Yvonne Lopez, and Garnett Hall. I think everyone but Yvonne is with us today. In the Senate by Senate President Nick Scuteri and by Senator Paul Sarlo. And the synopsis is it revises New Jersey Transportation Trust Fund Authority Act revises calculation of the gas tax rate, and establishes an annual fee for zero-emission vehicles. Pardon me? Okay. Figure out where to sign this thing. Make sure I didn't miss it.
We'll be back tomorrow.
We'll put it around there we go. I'm going to have to, everyone's going to get a letter of nothing more than a letter, actually. First pen goes to Lyona's leader, a great guy and a great leader, Mike Hellstrom. Mike. Do you have extras? I do. Okay, hold them for now. Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin. In absentia, Senate President Nick Scuteri. In absentia, Senator Paul Sarlo. Back to the Assembly. The guy who was a driving force every step of the way, Clinton Calabrese. Our guy in Washington, the one and only Congressman, my Congressman, Frank Pallone. We got to let him get down to Atlantic City from the Chamber of Commerce, Mike Egginton. Mike. Tell Brackett he had to show up if he wanted a pen. I didn't recognize him. He's got the Jerry Garcia look going for him, but Bobby Bryant. I mentioned him earlier, representing the Associated Construction Contractors of New Jersey, a guy I met way back when it was cold, dark, and lonely, Jack Kocius. I get a cigar from him. The least I can do is to hand a pen back to the President of the New Jersey State Building and Construction Trades Council, Bill Mullin. This shouldn't take more than an hour or two. I love this guy and I love his family. He's president of the American Council of Engineering Companies, Joe Fiordaliso. Joe. Shouldn't be in there. Okay. I just saw him walking by the president of New Jersey Alliance for Action, the one and only Jerry Keenan. Jerry. Almost there. If Aaron Rodgers runs for vice president with Bobby Kennedy, Tim McDonough, the mayor of Hope Township, will be playing quarterback for the New York Jets. Tim, congratulations. I couldn't resist. I love you. Let me know how that goes, by the way, Tim. The aforementioned extraordinary chief of staff to me, Diane Gutierrez. Acting Commissioner Fran O'Connor. Fran. Can I get one more, please? Thank you. Just drop that there. He's not here. It's an absentia as well to the, is he in absentia? He's not here. Charlie's not here, right?
No.
No. Charlie Volcanic, president of New Jersey State AFL-CIO. And the extra one goes to the guy who everybody talked about. Come on down, Steve Gardner. With that, I could say that this is now the law of the land. Martell's asking us to come in. Martell does bar mitzvahs as well if you need some help. Come in tighter.
Yep, come in tighter. Thank you, everyone. Come in tighter, Elizabeth.
Everybody see? All right, see me? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and others? As the President of the United States said when he was Vice President, today is a big deal. What was that? Congratulations, everybody.